I watched pretty much every single one of Caitlyn's games early on because I am a fan. I do like good basketball. And of course, I wanted to see how she would do.
We're diving into a growing storm inside the WNBA, a story that's triggered strong reactions from fans, players, and analysts alike. Sue Bird, one of the league's most respected voices, has called out a serious issue that strikes at the heart of the WNBA, its credibility and leadership under Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. So what sparked this wave of frustration? At the center of it all is Caitlyn Clark, the rising superstar whose record-breaking season has been clouded by controversy over how the league has treated her. And from the looks of it, the problem seems to go all the way to the top.
Don't. And it actually, we talked about this before, like the fan that went hard at Caitlyn at the Connecticut Sun game in game 1 or 2, I can't remember, where there was an interaction where the fan almost got ejected. It's like, none of this is okay. And we never accept it. We never accept this on the men's side. Why is it okay in our league? Why is it, welcome to mainstream sport?
We're about to explore how Sue Bird's revelations and the WNBA's leadership decisions have revealed serious cracks in the league's foundation. Why was Caitlyn Clark, the very player who boosted viewership and packed arenas, treated in a way that left fans outraged? And what role does Commissioner Engelbert really play in all of this? Get ready, because we're breaking down exactly what this means for the future of the league. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Are you ready? Let's go.
We do sit at this intersection of culture and sport and fashion and music. Like the WNBA players are really looked at now as kind of cultural icons.
True.
And when you have that, you have a lot of attention on you. There's no more apathy. Everybody cares. It is a little that Bird magic moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry.
Omissioner. Cathy Engelbert's recent public comments have raised eyebrows and sparked intense debate among WNBA fans and analysts. During her appearance on CNBC's Power Lunch, she faced backlash after stressing that you need rivalry to boost a sport's visibility. While the statement was meant to highlight the value of competition, it came off as tone-deaf, especially considering the kind of vitriol players like Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese have been dealing with. What made it even more surprising was how specifically Engelbert brought this up.
One white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another. It's a balance, but certainly from a marketing dollars, but corporate partners are stepping up to endorse these players. Much more so than they were 5 years ago.
The controversy wasn't just about the statement itself, it was about what it revealed. Critics, including soccer legend Bird and Rapinoe, pointed out that Engelbert's focus on promoting rivalries instead of prioritizing player safety and well-being was a serious misstep. On her podcast with Sue Bird, Rapinoe called out the commissioner for failing to protect players from the toxic and even racist rhetoric spreading online and in stadiums. Her criticism struck a chord with many who believe the league's leadership is more focused on marketing a storyline than standing up for its own athletes.
We knew it was coming. This wasn't a surprise. And not just the comments that the commissioner made a few weeks ago, where she basically implied that the racial tension is good for business and invoking Magic and Bird. It's not good for business. It's never good for business. And sort of sidestep the question about racism and misogyny and hate that the players are receiving online, basically saying like, don't go on social media or, it's sort of not real.
Engelbert later issued an apology, saying, "I should have stated directly and unequivocally that hate speech is harmful." While it was an attempt to correct her earlier misstep, it didn't land well with many players and fans who were hoping for stronger, more decisive action. The apology only emphasized the growing disconnect between the league's leadership and its core responsibilities, protecting players and maintaining integrity. This backlash didn't come out of nowhere. Analysts have long pointed out that Engelbert's leadership tends to favor marketable narratives over meaningful policies, and that approach is starting to erode trust. By publicly focusing on rivalries, she ended up highlighting the lack of real action on urgent issues like player safety and respect, giving the impression that profits matter more than principles. And when recently asked about the growing referee problem, this is what she had to say.
Obviously, not every, they're humans, looking at technology. Basketball is a little more complex than tennis, for instance, around technology of officiating. So we're looking at a variety of different dimensions.
The stakes for the WNBA have never been higher. With a player like Caitlyn Clark driving viewership and igniting fan enthusiasm, Engelbert's current leadership style risks undoing all that progress. Fans and players alike are starting to question whether this approach is truly sustainable. Is all this focus on rivalries just a distraction from the real issues that need attention? And more importantly, how are these decisions impacting one of the league's most important rising stars? If you've made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We truly appreciate your time. Now, let's get back into it.
Coming out of college and going into the WNBA, we as WNBA players were having basketball conversations, and everybody just took it to another place where we were attacking them as people. And that's, again, where that petty and jealousy lives.
Sue Bird and Bird and Rapinoe didn't hold back in their podcast episode A Touch More, where they addressed the growing tension within WNBA leadership. Bird, one of the most respected figures in the game, and Rapinoe, a fierce advocate for equality and justice, pointed to a disturbing disconnect between league officials and the players' day-to-day reality. Bird called out Engelbert's comments on CNBC, saying her emphasis on rivalries completely missed the mark. The priority, she argued, should have been protecting players and fans from the toxic, racially charged attacks that have become far too common. Bird shared that the atmosphere had grown so hostile, many players no longer felt safe online, or even in arenas, and fans, too, were unfairly being painted with a broad brush.
There is one thing I want to reset, that we want to reset, and it's the language being used around fans. Fever fans, Caitlyn fans, new fans. That actually has to go. That has to go. I understand why at times it's been used. It's kind of just when you're in an interview and you get asked a question, it's kind of easy to go, oh, the Fever fan base.
Yeah, what do you mean by that? That has to go.
Oh, these new fans. It has to go because it's not the Fever fans. It's not Caitlyn fans.
Rapinoe backed Bird's points, emphasizing that the WNBA and its leadership had failed to protect players from the darker side of the league's sudden surge in attention. She pointed out that the rise in popularity came with a wave of negativity that the league wasn't prepared or willing to manage. Their critique exposed a deeper concern. Leadership seemed more focused on controlling the public narrative than taking real, protective measures. The podcast also revealed how certain league decisions may have unintentionally widened the divide between fan bases. Bird expressed alarm at how unchecked commentary and media-fueled rivalries weren't just staying online. They were seeping into real-world interactions at games, creating a hostile environment for players and fans alike. But it wasn't all criticism. Both Bird and Rapinoe used the platform to advocate for change, calling on the league to shift its focus from flashy marketing to real action. They made it clear, if the WNBA wants to sustain its momentum, leadership must prioritize safety, unity, and respect over empty headlines.
From the WNBA's perspective, the WNBA and the league office and Kathy's role specifically is basically to protect and shepherd the league, both from a business perspective, from a player welfare perspective, from a health and safety perspective, and from a growth and investment perspective. And this is where I feel like she's failed.
As Bird and Rapinoe broke down these leadership failures, one thing became painfully clear. Players were being forced to carry an unbearable load. Not only were they expected to perform at the highest levels, but they were also left to defend themselves against toxic attacks both online and in person, all while trying to grow the game. Bird argued that this reality was slowly eroding trust within the WNBA community, leaving players feeling unsupported and vulnerable. The big question now is whether the league will take these calls for change seriously, or whether it will continue down the same path, risking its credibility and growth in the process.
I did not come out of college with the same level of popularity, scrutiny, all of it. Nobody has. Caitlyn is one of one. There's zero doubt about that.
Caitlyn Clark's debut season wasn't just impressive. It was nothing short of historic. From breaking records to sinking game-winning shots, she brought an electrifying presence that captivated new audiences and reignited the passion of longtime fans. Her impact was so profound that analysts began calling it the Caitlyn Clark effect. Ticket sales, TV ratings, and merchandise revenue all saw significant increases. Yet, despite her undeniable influence, the league's response was puzzlingly subdued.
Caitlyn continuing to impress and she's going to break records nonstop for the next couple of years. Yeah. It's just going to be a constant record break.
The WNBA leadership's failure to fully embrace Caitlyn Clark's success highlighted deeper issues within the league. Instead of capitalizing on her historic season to engage new fans and strengthen its existing base, leadership remained hesitant. Take, for instance, the muted recognition of Clark's accolades. The Rookie of the Year award, which should have been a defining moment for the league, was handled with an unexpected level of restraint. This move baffled both her supporters and analysts, leaving many questioning the league's priorities.
They decided that they were going to let her know she was Rookie of the Year with a phone call in Connecticut during a practice before a playoff game. You can't make this up.
This lack of recognition wasn't just an oversight, it was a signal. It showed fans that the league's leadership might not fully grasp how to harness the power of its brightest stars. The implications were stark. If a player like Caitlyn Clark, who brought unprecedented excitement and viewership, wasn't celebrated to her full potential, what did that mean for the league's future? The failure to capitalize on her success raised serious questions about the direction the league was headed.
Higher television ratings, higher attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximized it, but you didn't do it.
The stakes are high for the WNBA. Caitlyn Clark's breakout season was a golden opportunity, not just for her, but for the entire league. Fans were eager to support her, and by extension, the sport itself. Yet, by not stepping up, the leadership risked sending a message that could resonate far beyond this season. How does this missed opportunity shape the future for other stars in the league? While leadership missteps and marketing blunders have drawn criticism, the core issues of inconsistent officiating and player safety have stirred even deeper frustration among players and fans. Caitlyn Clark's first season not only spotlighted her incredible skill, but also revealed the gaps in how the league ensures fairness and safety on the court. One viral moment that fans won't forget involved Clark receiving a technical foul for an interaction with the rim post, an incident that left many baffled by the league's rules and enforcement.
Caitlyn Clark gets hit with a technical.
I got a technical for basically being mad at myself because I missed the three and then I went and hit the backboard, and he told me it was disrespectful to the game of basketball.
But is this rule consistently called across all players? Let's take a look at Diana Taurasi doing the exact same thing.
Carter nearly picks off the pass, and Diana Taurasi, they'll count the bucket. And one coming up for DT.
How come there's no foul? This incident wasn't isolated. Throughout the season, players, including Clark, experienced refereeing inconsistencies that altered the momentum and outcomes of games. These discrepancies sent mixed signals to both players and fans, with calls varying widely even within the same game. The inconsistency disrupted game flow and raised questions about the integrity of competition. Moreover, player safety has been a persistent issue that only gained more prominence with Clark's high-intensity style. The backlash wasn't limited to the players alone. Fans who tuned in for clean, competitive games found themselves frustrated by decisions that seemed arbitrary. This eroded trust and shifted attention from the excitement of the game to the drama of inconsistent officiating. If the WNBA couldn't promise a fair and safe environment for its top players, what did it mean for the league's credibility and long-term growth?
So now it's the responsibility of the players to not only go play the damn game and to be great and to give everything that you know it takes, mind, body, soul, to be the best player that you possibly can. Now it's on them to ensure their own health and safety, their own player wellness, their own safe workplace, whether that is online, in stadiums, or otherwise. And I don't think that that's fair.
Clark's standout season drew unprecedented attention, creating a unique opportunity for the WNBA to embed itself further into mainstream sports discussions. Yet, the visible misalignment between leadership's priorities and player advocacy raised doubts about whether the league could fully capitalize on this surge in popularity. If Engelbert and her team fail to pivot, the league risks not only losing the momentum created by stars like Clark, but also alienating the very community it seeks to engage. The stakes couldn't be higher. This moment is a test of whether the WNBA can reconcile its image as a progressive, player-first league with the realities of how it treats its athletes. Will the leadership address these challenges, or will these moments be remembered as missed opportunities?
It elevated television ratings, it elevated attendance, and it damn sure elevated franchise value. But now, something that y'all resisted talking about, opining about, acknowledging.
The conclusion will reflect on what these events mean for the future of the league and the critical steps it must take to sustain growth and credibility. The WNBA finds itself at a crucial juncture. Caitlyn Clark's remarkable debut season brought an influx of attention that could propel the league to new heights. But leadership missteps and overlooked player safety threaten to undermine this momentum. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert's focus on marketing and rivalry-driven narratives has faced backlash for appearing detached from the core values that fans and players hold dear: safety, fairness, and genuine support. Sue Bird and Rapinoe's call for a course correction serves as a reminder that leadership in sports must prioritize more than just optics. The league must align its public image with on-court realities and reinforce its commitment to the athletes who dedicate their lives to the game. Players like Clark are not just stars. They are symbols of what the WNBA could become if the right decisions are made. To move forward, the WNBA must implement consistent officiating standards, prioritize player safety, and back up progressive rhetoric with decisive action. This is not just about maintaining fan interest. It's about upholding the trust and credibility that are essential for long-term success. The lessons from this season, painful as they might be, can serve as a turning point. The stakes are high. If the league adapts, it could solidify its position as a leader in women's sports, fostering an environment where talent is celebrated and safety is paramount. If it fails to address these issues, the risk is clear: a gradual erosion of trust that could cost the WNBA its hard-earned gains. The future hinges on how well the leadership listens, learns, and leads from this moment onward. The WNBA now stands at a crossroads, with a choice that will shape not just its present, but its legacy. Which path will it take? Only time will tell. What do you think? Let us know in the comments, like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.